Hello, everyone, and as always, welcome back to Strategy Gaming Dojo, where we find, learn, and play one more turn of the great strategy games. Today, back into the big one, Gary Grigsby's War in the Pacific Admirals Edition. This is our Let's Play by email against the devilish Mr. Lodrick, and it is now February 25th of 1942. We've looked at the setup phase and went all around the map. Kind of showed you the hot spots, and we looked a little bit over on, the east coast of the U.S., Panama Canal, up the west coast just a little bit. Um, and so now we're going to look at the combat resolution after that setup. So this will be February 25th and February 26th combat resolution. We're almost into March of 1942, but let's get it fired up and see what happened this time. What does Lodrick have in store for us? We will be looking at Rangoon, the bombing there that usually happens. His carriers are now moving back to what I believe is Singapore. He may take a little shot at Rangoon as he goes by, but I think he maybe is just retiring back, licking a few of the wounds that we dealt out. Now he dealt out a lot more woundage, but he may have to, put some more planes on the ships, or maybe he took a little bit of damage out there. So anyway, we'll be checking all that out. Let's get going, and the game will show us what we need to check out, right? As we come in here to the end of March, it's something we haven't talked a whole lot about. I've mentioned it a few times, but we'll have to, or I say the end of February, start of March, we'll have to start looking at refit on our ships. Some of the American ships are due for a refit at the start of March and at the start of April. And so we'll have to start looking at that. What do you want on refit? What do you not want on refit? Most of the secondary, what I'll call secondary ships, cargo, tankers, things like that. You might not want to put those on refit unless they're just sitting somewhere. Okay, we've got our destroyers out here on top of a Japanese sub. Now, this is way over. You can see the penalty box on the right-hand side here. And this is over by the Panama Canal. So just this light area up here would be up by San Diego. So we have found, and we had two destroyers out here with, they're escorting a number of ships, but only the destroyers get involved. Well, it launched two torpedoes at us, and we did nothing back. We're merging units out, or task forces out here by Socotra, and now we have an SSO 20. This is a Dutch sub that we have here that was attacking, but his destroyers found us, I think. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, ASW attack. And so he was escorting these cargo ships here. Okay. We tried to interdict there, but we took 3 hits. So we were sighted by the escort. You know, they got some depth charges in the water and hit us 3 times. We're not showing heavy damage, so hopefully we'll just be able to go back to port, get patched up a little bit, and off we go. Okay, he's going to bombard Ambon again. Now, we've talked about this many times, is the fact that he did not bring enough to Ambon. If you're playing the Japanese side, this is exactly the situation you don't want to get into. It's almost like we got a split screen there. Because, you just are wasting time. You've come all the way over here, you've dropped these troops off. They have now sat there, oh, hell, I don't know, 5 or 6 turns at least. You can see we're returning the fire out here on the Kumano and trying to get a hit there. Now, our coastal guns have not done much. Usually you do some damage. The AI is not nearly as good at what ships to bring up for bombardment as Lodrick has been, certainly. We do take 45 casualties. Our air base takes some hits, as does the runway and the port. Now, he's going to get this base eventually, but we're sure as hell making him work for it, and I like it. We have Japanese ships out here at Diego Garcia. Well, that's interesting. So he kind of peeled off his battleships here. You see the Hyuga is out here hitting Diego Garcia. Probably a smart move on his Freudian there, on his part. Now, that's because, if you look, I mean, there is nothing south of Diego Garcia, right? For a very long ways. And we have in the past out of the Dutch East Indies tried to get ships up here to refuel or to get them off the map. So Diego Garcia is the first place, you hit if you kind of come straight this way, and there's nothing south of it. So I do like to build it up generally, but he's now come over here like 3 times. You can see with our base force out here, we took 111 casualties. Our port took 1 hit, and our port supply took 2. Okay, he's playing a dangerous game there. It's certainly we could lay in wait for him at some point, but he knows we don't have enough strength over in the Indian Ocean area to do that right now. Now he's a lot of bombardment this time. This time at Oosthaven as he bombs away. We take 183 casualties. Wow, that's quite a bit. 10 guns lost, and his ships take no damage. I didn't see any yeah, we have 1 coastal gun. I was going to say I didn't even see anything splash in the water. And now he is unloading more troops at Oosthaven. We don't have much of a force there. He took 53 casualties landing on the beaches. In a different style of game, I would like to have a lot more troops at Oosthaven and Palembang. It just wasn't really available to us in this game. He moved so quickly, and I mean, I think that should kind of guide you as playing the Japanese. You have got to move at lightning speed because if you don't, and you let the big war machine of the Allies grind and hold you up, that's how you lose the game. The only way to win this thing is to go at lightning speed, and Laudric is certainly doing that. You could see we had some sightings out at Adu as his carrier task forces go by. He's got recon out and whatnot. All right, this is our recon planes sighting things. I really want to get some Dutch subs up there by Ballypoppin because you can see he's bringing a lot of ships in there as he's going to start ferrying fuel out of Ballypoppin to keep his army moving forward. And if we could get a couple of tankers, that'd be great. Hey, Chinese bombing starts. Well, it's Japanese bombing in China. 10 Oscars sweep over the top, so no bombing yet. They just want to make sure we didn't have any cap over there. Now we got a little bombing in here, and you see zeros, vowels, and kates. When you see a group like this, it's coming off carriers. So he must have his carriers just sitting here at lay now. And he's going to come in and bomb Moresby, of course. 1 damage, 0, 6 damage kates, 4 damage vowels. We took 31 casualties on the ground. Doesn't look like anything on the ground got hurt. There's a lot more information here. We don't always read over it, but you should check it out. If you want to know like the different altitude levels, things like that, you can do it when you play the AI. Watch and see what the AI does, because I guarantee you that the developers are going to program the AI to bomb at the proper height. That's like an easy one. So just something to look at when you're playing the AI, and it'll kind of guide you of how you should run your bombing missions. 24 lilies in here. We got some AA up in the air you saw there, but he took no losses, but neither did we. It was light clouds out here, but he just missed. And now he's bombing the other stack down here. We talked about these guys this last time. 3 damage planes, 84 casualties on the ground. Follow up bombing run by the Ans here. 1 damage plane, 12 casualties. Okay, now he's going to hit Wu Chao. I keep expecting something to happen here at Wu Chao. We did see that one stack that he had moving around this way. I assume maybe into this hex. I don't know. Or he could just, cross over here and try to get behind us. Although we have big forces at Nanning and then also at Kuilin. So we'll see. 13 casualties on the ground there. He hits Wu Chao again. Well, he doesn't hit Wu Chao. We're in severe storms. He does not hit target there. He's running a sweep over this base that's west of Changsha. Nothing doing on our cap, of course. All right, 8 Marauders. Now, I've talked about this before. I've got some Marauders sitting here at Surabaya just for this very reason. As he brings ships in and around here, we know his carriers aren't here. So if he hasn't moved fighters out yet, it's possible we could get a hit on something. And here we go. I mean, we had him in our sights, but we don't have very good bombardiers, at least not yet. And we get 2 planes damaged from the flak, I would imagine. You could see the flak coming up. But we had an AK in our sights and we just missed. I mean, we were at 6,000 feet. We dropped 6 500-pound bombs and just flat out missed. There's not a whole lot you can do about that except try to train up your bombers better. Okay, we've got 3 fortresses heading over here to Balikpapan. I'm trying to hit the port because, as you saw here, it's possible he hasn't moved his fighters down this way. So I've got the fortresses looking over here. Let's hit the port of Balikpapan. He controls this now. I don't want him to get fuel out of here. Unfortunately, he has moved fighters at least to Balikpapan. We'll see if the fortresses can avoid. Well, they did all make it to drop their bombs. Okay, he took no losses. You wouldn't expect that he did. We get 3 damaged planes out of that. They drop 4 500-pound bombs on the port. It was a port attack from 8,000 feet. Nothing. We miss. We miss. Gosh darn it. That is some really bad bombardiering, gentlemen, on that turn so far. Shoot, we could have had we had a cargo ship in our sights. It was an AK as well, not an XAK, so it was one of his, a little bit better cargo ships. We totally missed it, and we completely missed the port at Balikpapan. It's hard to miss a whole damn port, but we did. You can see he's still coming by those islands off of Colombo as he moves his carrier force back. All right, we spotted another sub out there by Suva as part of our naval search. Okay, 41 Oscars are going to take a little trip up and around Rangoon. We're going to respond with Hurricane 2B drops and part of the Flying Tigers, or at least one plane. And let's see what happens here. Let's see if the Hurricane 2B drops. Now, he's down to 26 planes. He started with 41. Some of those just bugged out of the mission. It's not like we, shot those down. Sometimes they just turn around. As you can see, we fight it to a standstill. One Oscar down, one Hurricane 2B drop down. That generally speaking, works in our favor. If we can keep this even, because we've got a lot more men and materials on, that he's going to have. So the more we can keep these even, as opposed to losing 10 to 1 planes, the better off we are. How many Hurricane 2B traps did we get up there? Well, we'll see. He got 44 zeros up. We got 5 traps up. We lost 1 plane. So he's ahead of us 2 to 1 this time. He was sweeping at 8,000 feet, so he wanted to sweep at his bombing level. Okay. He was actually much below us. I'm surprised we didn't do a little better there. Bad dice roll. That's what I'll blame it on. Hey, here come the Marauders again. They smell blood out here. Uh, well, we've got that AK in our sights again. Can we hit it? You see the splashes, and you see their cruiser shooting up the flak. We end up with 1 damaged plane, and I'll be damned if we didn't miss again. bombing from 6,000 feet. We dropped six 500-pound bombs. No joy. I'll be gosh darn. Well, I got exactly what I wanted. I mean, sometimes you're just going to miss. His pilots don't miss, but early on, especially as the allies, you're going to miss. It gets very frustrating. It's just like with your subs. We've had a chance to sink two battleships. We've also had a chance to sink a carrier, and our subs have just absolutely flubbed their lines. So, oh well. Sorry, 16 casualties had here as they land at Bataan Island. Okay, so unloading, he took 16 casualties, and now he's off of Gruntalo. Okay, amphibious assault there. Putting down troops all over the map. You can see as a Japanese player, man, you've got a lot to do in the early turns because you're constantly loading up transports and sending them out to these bases, even the small ones, in some places, a lot of islands out here and whatnot. Okay, Japanese deliberate attack at Ambon. He's finally decided to attack after bombarding us, and he is finally kicked. Yep, we finally surrendered. Well, those guys, tip of the cap to them, all gold stars out there. They held on for a very long time. They've been bombarded three or four times. They've been attacked several times, but they finally give way. 58 on the adjusted. We had 13. We had a fort level 2 to start with, but it didn't really matter. He took 219 casualties. We had 2,500 men that eventually had to surrender there. And now he's dropping off at Taberfane, and he will take Taberfane because we've got nothing there. So he's taken Dobo and Taberfane right here in the Arafura Sea. So, you can see, I mean, there's Darwin. He's right on top of Australia now. And so that's why it was important to try to hold Ambon as long as we could. He maybe could have been there a couple of turns earlier if he wasn't worried about Ambon. Okay, he's gonna now attack at Baton Island. We've got nothing there, and so he captures that. He's captured a number of smaller bases this time around. He's going to capture this base. We've got nothing there as well. These were the ships that we were attacking out here that were dropping off men and supplies. But now he's captured, I don't know, four or so smaller bases. Now he is hitting. Oh, this is at Oosthaven. He's going to take Oosthaven because you can see we just had a base force there and they surrendered. They had nothing left. 171 casualties for us. We had 171 men there. They all surrender. Allied bombardment. We are again shooting out from Port Moresby onto his troops because they're just sitting there. He's got the same problem here at Moresby. Now, he will eventually take it. We don't have any way to get anything up here while his carriers are sitting here. But since his carriers are sitting here, we're getting things up into the South Pacific so we can make that work to our, silver lining. Let's call that a silver lining. I'd much rather be getting stuff into Moresby, but I mean, what are you going to do? Send it into the teeth of five Japanese carriers? Obviously not. That's the kind of stuff that has to be done immediately at the start of the game. You got to load up Moresby with 50,000 supply if you can, or whatever. You got to look at the supply limit there. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. Anything above that will start to spoil. That's another topic I guess we haven't really talked much about. But some of these bases, they have a supply and fuel limit. Above that, you take spoilage. Just something to keep in mind. And that's it for February 25th. You can see we still have that ship that needs to withdraw. But for the 25th, that's the end of the day. I mean, there wasn't a ton of action. I wish those Marauders would have just hit that cargo ship. Not that it's worth a lot of points or anything, but just to help boost my morale more than anything. I would have really liked to have seen a hit there, but we did not. What can you say? He took Oosthaven. That's a huge deal. Oosthaven right at the bottom tip of Sumatra, and now he'll start to push for Palembang, where he can also get more fuel. Balikpapan and Palembang are super important for the Japanese player from a fuel perspective because they just don't have enough on their own. And so they've got to get it from somewhere, and those are the two biggest places for the Japanese player to get it from. So he will very soon have both of those. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see how long we can. I've got everything that was on Sumatra except the stuff that was way north. I've got everything that was in the middle and the south of Sumatra now sitting at Palembang. It's very defensible. It's right by that swamp, but he is going to be coming from the south, which makes his job a little easier. Takes a little longer. Okay, this is our sub, the Tautog. Looks like we got found out here, I believe. That is a destroyer, a Japanese destroyer. Yep, ASW attacked two of them, and we took 12 hits and took heavy damage. Ugh. Looks like we may lose that one. In the middle of the night, his destroyers find our subs right there by Buna. He's got a lot of stuff coming in there, so I've got a lot of sub activity in that area, but we haven't had much success. We did have that chance to hit a battleship over here, but it just didn't work out that way. He's got a battleship here that is going to once again bombard Port Moresby. All right. He's got two battleships, a cruiser, and two destroyers here. We take 85 casualties. The airbase takes two hits, and the runway takes 9 hits. Now, we don't have any planes here, but okay. I mean, he's just trying to soften up our troops, and he's going to do it again. A lot of bombardment this time around. Look at those ships firing. Those guys got no sleep tonight. It's dark right at Port Moresby, but they were up all night putting out fires. Two battleships, four light cruisers, five destroyers here. We take 152 casualties. This time he really chews on the runway. 11 airbase hits, 5 airbase supply hits, 28 on the runway, 10 on the port, and 3 on port supply. So he's really roughed that thing up for when he finally takes control. Going through the phases here. We haven't seen a lot of mine activity. Okay, we've got a Japanese sub out here, and our destroyer either has found it or he's found us. Either way, I'm glad it was a destroyer. Let's see what happens. It's a sub attack, so he actually found us. Two torpedoes launched, but he does not hit the destroyer. Meanwhile, we can't find him after that attack. Now here's another Japanese sub that's in our cargo lanes, and he does get a cargo ship. You could see that. Now we're firing out at him, but we've got what is that? The Ganges takes one torpedo hit. He's on fire with heavy damage. We'll see if he actually goes down. Now well, he's going to take a second bite at the apple here. You can see the heavy fire. He hits it again. Now two torpedo hits on fire, heavy damage, and down it goes. Okay, you can see our destroyer sitting right there, but again, I mean, our destroyer capability, most of our destroyers still have a level 2 ASW. Sometimes his subs are going to sneak through that before we can get to them. All you can do is try to escort this stuff. It's not like we're just going to stop shipping stuff to Perth. So I've got destroyers with every single task force, but they're only a level 2. You can double them up. Most of the times I have these doubled up if I can, but sometimes it just doesn't matter. You're going to lose some cargo ships. It happens. You can see he's got four task forces in and around Bay Bay. I just like to say Bay Bay. Okay, here come the zeros with the sweep over Rangoon again. 44 zeros. We have two, or I'm sorry, yeah, eight Hurricane 2B trops up, and one of the Flying Tigers is up. And we'll see what came of that. He did get out, 39 planes made it over Rangoon. We destroyed two zeros. Excellent. We took two losses ourselves of the 2B Trops, but 2-2, we'll take that. So far over the skies of Rangoon, it's 4-3 in his favor. We'll take it. We'll take it. 32 Oscars now, and now our cap is starting to get tired, and they're not getting up nearly as many planes. We'll see how they fare against the Oscars. We do destroy an Oscar. He destroys a 2B Trop. So now it's what? 5-4. 5-4. And we'll take that. Now he brings in the big force into Moresby. He really, I think, thinks we have more at Moresby than we do. We damage 12 planes. Excellent. He should take some nice operational losses this turn. 22 casualties on the ground. 24 lilies go after the southeastern China stack. We destroy one by flak. Awesome. And he doesn't hit us in the light rain. Okay. Bombing Wu Chao again. We take 47 casualties on the ground. Now our troops on the ground are telling us about certain planes that are going about. Okay, Marauders, let's go. We need our bombers to do their work. All right, we got an AK in our sights. I'm going to let this play out a little bit. You saw some flak coming up. Come on, just you need a little more depth on that, my friend. One damaged plane. Gosh, it's just two unescorted AKs out here. We did see some flak fire, so it's coming from somewhere. Maybe they do have an escort. We just don't see it. Two AKs just sitting out here ripe as they can be, and we miss six 500-pound bombs from 6,000 feet. Yeah. Sometimes you need a little luck. We spotted some ships near Pago Pago there. That was going to take some more investigation because Pago obviously incredibly important to our war effort. Now these are our recon planes and planes doing naval search. Ah, we attacked a sub there. Liberator attacking a Japanese sub at 184, 115. We're not indicating any hit there. Okay, good to know. 10 Oscars do a sweep just west of Changsha. 38 Bettys in on Moresby. Now that is coming from Rabal. We only pick them up here, but where that line's coming back, we know his carriers are there. So he's now bombing out of Rabal again this turn. He misses though. Heavy cloud cover over Moresby. 18 more Bettys on the follow-on attack. He misses again. Okay, we estimated 8,000 feet. He actually dropped down to 4,000 feet to deliver the bombs, but he hits nothing. Now he brings in 27 Nels. They also miss. Okay, that heavy cloud cover is helping us over Port Moresby, certainly. All right, these are our Dutch bombers here coming out of Batavia, and they've spotted an AP. Come on, baby. Man, that would be a huge hit if we get a hit there. Well, we did hit a light cruiser. What the heck? We did it. The Dutch bomber. That's why I keep sending them out. Like I always say, you're going to lose these planes no matter what. So try to pick your spots with them, and this is one of the spots. Put everything on naval attack and all of these ships he's got out here. Hell, you just never know. And as you see, we lose none of the planes, and we have now set a light cruiser on fire. Now, who knows if that's going to actually go down? And if it doesn't go down, I guess we haven't gained much, but you never know. It's all about odds. And now we have our 212s out here. I turned them all after the disaster here at Summering last time. I turned them all on naval attack, and he wasn't quite ready for that. He doesn't have any fighters in this area. It doesn't appear anyway. We do get a damaged plane here. We actually do not hit the AP. Well, that's too bad. That would have been a beautiful hit because he's got troops, a big amount of troops, I would imagine, on that to land at Oosthaven. We don't hit it. Ay, ay, ay. They were bombing at 6,000 feet. They dropped two only 50-kilogram bombs. That, question whether that would have done much damage anyway, but hey, we gave it a shot. Now the Marauders are back at work, and we're just, waiting for this line to come by here. An AMC, our merchant cruiser, we're going to get a hit on that? Looks like we did. Yes, the Marauders finally do something. And that's why, until they're in real danger, putting, naval attack aircraft up here can really pay off because he's got to bring so many assets into this area. And, where's he going to station fighters? Well, now he can station some at Oosthaven, but as of right now, he doesn't seem to have any fighters kind of in this area. Maybe at Valley Poppin. Six Marauders in, one got damaged. That's okay because an AMC, which these are high point value ships, relatively speaking, got hit and it's on fire. Love it. It'd be very helpful if one of those two ships or both go down, just from a point perspective. We may never know if they go down. They're going to have to limp back to their home port. I guess it depends how bad the fires are, whether they're going to be able to put those out. All right, the SS Salmon's in here, but he does have good ASW in the area, and you can see the Salmon just got ripped up. So ASW attack, these are his sub chasers. They're just made to find subs. We take 19 hits and heavy damage. So that sub may go down as well. We're going to have to move out of that port area and try to catch them, further north a little bit before they can put out their ASW net. You see a sub right there that we uncovered. Again, we attacked that, but didn't have any joy. Let's see if he does any more land attacks this turn. Okay, this is us. We're bombarding out of Moresby, but you can see how much we've been whittled down here through bombing and bombardment. We do fire out of, if you just looked at this, you would say, well, we're still in okay shape, but not really. He's going to have a lot more forces here in the near future. That was the only land attack this time. So looks like February 26th is going to turn out to be a fairly quiet day. And I think we carried the day. Our Marauders got out there and hit an AMC. Gotta love that. Those are usually 20 or 25 point ships. We also did get a Dutch bomber on naval attack. I mean, I think those guys have like a 30 naval attack skill, but that's just why you never know. You never know what the dice roll is going to be. And obviously, we got a very, very good one there. And so we'll keep those on naval attack for maybe another turn. But he's going to have fighters down here. Now, after seeing those two ships hit, he's going to get fighters down into this area very, very quickly, or at least he should. And then we'll just get absolutely torn apart. So we'll have to decide on the Marauders. When it comes to the Dutch planes, I don't know. We may still just send them out there to get slaughtered on the hopes we get another lucky hit or two. Maybe by Oosthaven. I would have really loved to hit that one transport. Man, that would have turned this turn into a great turn for us. As it is, we held our own over Rangoon, the skies of Rangoon. His carriers are now disengaged and headed what appears to be back to Singapore, although he did send his battleship task force over to let Diego Garcia have it. He took a bunch of smaller bases this time, which is what he should be doing. and he also took Oosthaven, which is kind of a major base, at least because of where it is located, really more than anything. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Hell, I enjoyed this turn more than a few we've had in this game, that's for certain. But thanks again. I'll talk to you soon.